Today, we're diving into one of the most iconic coins in the world, the 1-cent coin, also known as the penny. It's been in circulation for over 200 years. But have you ever wondered about its history, its value, and the rare pennies that can be worth thousands, if not millions, of dollars? Well, today we're uncovering all of those fascinating details and more. So grab a cup of coffee, sit back, and let's explore the world of the penny. Our story begins in the late 18th century. The year is 1793, and the United States is a fledgling nation, still finding its footing after gaining independence. The U.S. Mint, freshly established in Philadelphia, has just begun its mission to create a national currency. And with that, the very first 1-cent coin was born. This coin, known as the 1793 chain cent, was made from pure copper. It's a beautiful example of early American coinage. The reverse side of the coin featured a chain with 15 links, representing the 15 states that were part of the Union at the time. On the front, there was Lady Liberty, depicted wearing a cap, symbolizing freedom. This simple yet powerful design marked the beginning of America's journey in the world of currency. At that time, the value of a penny was much more significant than today. It could buy you a loaf of bread or a meal, and it was an essential part of daily life. But as America grew, so did its coinage, and the penny's design would continue to evolve. Fast forward to 1859, when the U.S. Mint introduced this penny was much smaller than the chain cent, and it featured a Native American wearing a headdress on the obverse. It's a coin that symbolizes the shifting identity of the nation as it expanded westward and interacted with Native American cultures. Over the years, the penny's design changed again and again, each time reflecting different aspects of American history and values. But one of the most iconic moments in penny history came in 1909. In 1909, the U.S. Mint did something revolutionary. They put the image of a U.S. president on a coin. Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States, was immortalized on the new Lincoln cent designed by artist Victor David Brenner. The new penny featured a profile of Lincoln on the obverse, while the reverse showcased 2 stalks of wheat, representing the nation's agricultural roots. This penny is still in circulation today, though its design has been updated slightly over the years. Now, let's talk about the value of the penny today. For most of us, pennies are something we don't give much thought to. They're just loose change lying around in our pockets or jars. In fact, the penny has become somewhat of a joke in our modern economy. How much can you really buy with a single penny? Not much, right? But the penny wasn't always this cheap. Back in the 18th and 19th centuries, the value of a penny was much higher. A penny could get you a loaf of bread, a bottle of milk, or a small meal. However, with inflation and the increase in production costs, the value of the penny has diminished significantly over time. Today, it actually costs about 2.1 cents to produce a penny, which is more than its face value. That's one of the reasons why there have been so many discussions about whether or not the U.S. should discontinue the penny altogether. Other countries, like Canada, have already phased out their 1-cent coins. However, in the U.S., the penny is still in circulation, and some argue that it's a part of American culture and history that should be preserved. Now, here's the really fun part. Some pennies are worth far more than just 1 cent. In fact, some rare pennies are worth thousands, or even millions, of dollars. Let's dive into the world of rare, valuable penny. Let's start with one of the most famous and rare pennies, the 1943 copper penny. During World War II, the U.S. Mint switched to making pennies out of steel due to copper shortages. But a few copper planchets, metal discs, were mistakenly used, and a handful of 1943 copper penny were struck. These are now worth an absolute fortune. One of these rare pennies sold at auction for a staggering $1.7 million. It's one of the most valuable pennies in existence today. Imagine going through your pocket change and finding one of these. That's the kind of find that could change your life. This coin is rare for a couple of reasons. First, it was minted in San Francisco, and only about 484,000 were produced. But more importantly, the coin features the designer's initials, VDB, on the reverse. This caused a public outcry at the time, and the mint quickly recalled most of the coins. Today, a 1909 SVDB penny in good condition can fetch anywhere between $500 to $2,000. But if you find one in excellent or mint condition, it could be worth up to $20,000. So, if you've got a jar of old pennies lying around, it might be worth checking to see if you have one of these hidden treasures. An 1877 Indian head penny in good condition can be worth $10,000 or more. But in excellent or uncirculated condition, it could be worth as much as $20,000 to $40,000. So if you find one of these pennies in your collection, you're sitting on a real gem.